Thinking of moving to the Oklahoma City area? Maybe you're even thinking about Tulsa. Well, in this video, we're going to compare both cities, and it starts right now. Thank you so much for joining us here again today. So as per usual here in this video, we're going to be discussing Oklahoma City, my home city, and doing a little comparison of what I'd like to think of as our in-state sibling with Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma City and Tulsa certainly have some similarities, but there are also some key differences. So whichever one you lean towards is going to certainly depend on your preferences. One of the ways I've always thought about Oklahoma City and Tulsa is, how should I put this? So imagine this, you're a 40-year-old man still living at home with your single mother, and your mother meets a single father who is a widowed father who also has a 40-year-old son who's living at home. Now, your mom and his dad decide to get married, and at first it's like a little bit awkward because you've got this new Wrong story. Jokes aside, I've heard some people say that Tulsa is like the cool cosmopolitan brother while Oklahoma City is more the cowboy. I don't know if that's a very fair comparison. I've mentioned before that Oklahoma City has changed dramatically over the last 20 years, but either way, each city is very unique in its own right. Now, with that said, if you're thinking about making the move to the Oklahoma City area, whether in the next 3 weeks or 3 months from now, we would absolutely love the opportunity to help you make a smooth move here to the Oklahoma City area. All of my contact information you'll find in the description box below, so feel free to shoot me a call, a text, or an email. I'll always get right back to you and help you buy that perfect home here in the Oklahoma City area. Now, with all that out of the way, let's crack into a comparison of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Let's get into it. Now, one of the places I always like to start when comparing Oklahoma City to other cities is the median home price. The median home price here in Oklahoma City, specifically in the city, is around $225,000. Now, if you compare the entire Oklahoma City metro area, that number is still under $250,000, right at $242,000. Now, looking at Tulsa, you're not going to find numbers that are too drastically different. In Tulsa proper, you're going to find a median home price of $210,000. If you're looking at the entire Tulsa metro, it's right around $225,000. So you'll notice in both cities the cost to buy a home is very low. In fact, that's because Oklahoma is one of the top 10 cheapest states to buy a home in the entire United States. Now, when discussing buying a home in terms of the similarities between Oklahoma City and Tulsa, another one for discussion is property taxes. Here in Oklahoma City, the effective property tax rate is 0.87% of the property's value taxed annually, and you'll find a very similar effective tax rate in Tulsa, which is 0.85% of the property's value taxed annually. So certainly nothing groundbreaking in terms of difference between the two cities, but that is of course because once again, Oklahoma has some of the lowest property taxes in the United States. Now, here's an area where you're going to find some differences between Oklahoma City and Tulsa in a couple interesting ways, and that is the population. The population in Oklahoma City proper is just over 700,000 people, and throughout the entire Oklahoma City metro, you're going to find 1.4 million people living here. Now, when compared to Tulsa, in Tulsa proper, there are just over 400,000 residents living there, and throughout the entire Tulsa metropolitan area, there are just over 1 million people. And so here's where those numbers get kind of interesting to me. Here in Oklahoma City, we actually have about 50% less population density when compared to Tulsa. For me, I believe that's what kind of contributes to this more small town vibe we have here in Oklahoma City. Versus Tulsa, you can definitely feel the more population density that gives it more of a big city vibe, despite it having significantly less people overall. Always a good place to look at when comparing two cities is looking at the cost of living. Now, the cost of living in Oklahoma City is about 2.4% higher than Tulsa on everyday spending. However, as we discussed before, it is a little more expensive for housing here in Oklahoma City, so that puts it at 9.7% above that of Tulsa. So overall, that does contribute to a slightly higher cost of living here in Oklahoma City versus Tulsa. However, it is important to note that no matter where you live in Oklahoma, you are going to be somewhere around 13 to 15% lower cost of living than the national average. So what do the basic economy numbers look like in Oklahoma City versus Tulsa? Well, they are very, very similar. The median household income in both Oklahoma City and Tulsa is right around $56,000. You'll find unemployment numbers both below the national average, 3.1% in Oklahoma City versus 3.2% in Tulsa. Now, I will say I believe Oklahoma City has a slightly more diverse economy just in terms of the number of industries. The majority of jobs here in Oklahoma City are largely spread across energy, healthcare, and government. entertainment, whereas Tulsa has a strong presence in aerospace as well as the energy industry as well. So for me personally, when looking at a city, one of the things that's really important to me is outdoor activity or parks. Here in Oklahoma City, we have an astounding 170 parks throughout the entire city. And Tulsa is certainly no slouch. They have 135 parks. Now here in Oklahoma City, some of my favorite parks are definitely Martin Park Nature Center, where you've basically got some beautiful, nice trails just right here in the middle of Oklahoma City with all kinds of nature surrounding you. You'll probably see some deer and various other animals running through there. And also here in OKC, one of the newest parks is Scissortail Park that spans all the way from the city center down to the shore of the Oklahoma River. And again, Tulsa has no shortage of parks. Some of my favorite are part of the river parks that run along the Arkansas River, including Turkey Mountain, which you can get some nice hiking trails right in the middle of the city of Tulsa, as well as a much newer park down there called The Gathering, which is a very unique park. It's kind of a must-see. Even as somebody who lives here in Oklahoma City, I like to make a trip to Tulsa a couple times a year just to visit Turkey Mountain and The Gathering. Now, as far as museums and cultural attractions, I think Oklahoma City and Tulsa have some pretty cool spots. Here in Oklahoma City, we have the Oklahoma Science Museum, which is located near the Oklahoma City Zoo down in the Adventure District. Now, another spot, if you've never been through Oklahoma City, that is a must-see is the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, formerly known as the Cowboy Hall of Fame. That place is like walking into an absolute time capsule. Now, if you happen to be coming through and visiting Tulsa, a couple spots I would recommend are the Tulsa Air and Space Museum, and you definitely have to make a stop through the Woody Guthrie Center. Overall, if you're thinking about moving to the Oklahoma area, you really can't go wrong in making a decision between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Both very cool cities with their own character and vibe. Both are going to have very affordable housing, cost of living, great outdoor parks, cultural attractions. Both are going to have great entertainment districts. Now, if you've watched this channel before, you'll know that I have a personal bias towards Oklahoma City, and that's mainly because Oklahoma City has all of the amenities of a large city while still retaining that small town vibe. Whereas Tulsa is going to have more of that population dense big city vibe, even though it has a lot less people. But as a lifelong resident of Oklahoma City and a fan of Tulsa, I've always been really glad to have it a short 1.5 hour drive away anytime I want to make a trip up there and enjoy all that Tulsa has to offer. At the end of the day, which is the best choice for you and your family is going to be up to you to decide. Again, if you're thinking about making the move to the Oklahoma City area, contact information below. Give me a shout. We'll see what we can do to make a smooth move here to OKC. Now, if you found value today in this video, please smash the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. Tap the bell for notifications so that you know every time we drop a new video. Now, if you'd like to check out a comparison I did between Oklahoma City and Dallas, take a look at this video right here. And with that said, until next time, I certainly hope to see you soon. Bye.